So I'm back at home with the head. It looks all nice and shiny. They cleaned the ports as well. I can't see it, but yeah, it's most of it is taken off. All right, Sunday, 1st of March. No rain yet. So we will see in the meantime what's going on with the block. So the story goes with the head. I've left it with the machine shop, and luckily the head is not cracked. So much for that. It was just blowing, it was just blowing on 3 cylinders, something like that. So they've skimmed 0.45 mil. They call it for 450 thou. So yeah, it's like 450 thousandths of a millimeter, almost half a millimeter gone. But that means the head was extremely overheated. We are going to assess the condition of the pistons. I've had a look before, and the cylinders, and then I'm gonna scrape the surface of the block while waiting for the parts. That's the plan here for now. Let's have a look. So the water channels look like this all the time. They got that paint baked into the surface, plus there is some like rusty, crusty type of thing, but it's kind of soft. So I got my tweezers with me. This is going to be tedious job, so I'm not gonna bore you with anything. I've read somewhere that the surface and the cylinders are made of really tough material. I don't know which one is it. Obviously we are dealing with cast iron block. A bit of carbon buildup on pistons, but that's what you could expect. It's perfectly normal. So the block is not worn out that much. You can see some stains, but that's as much as it gets. You don't feel it under the nail. No scoring, just smooth surface. You could use some honing, I believe, at this point, but obviously I'm selling the car and it only needed head gasket doing. This is the most urgent work that needs doing. That's it. Yeah, so I'm just going to clean the surface, scrape it off, and in the meantime I'm gonna after that I'm gonna take the line and check if there are any, if the surface of the block is warped as well, but I don't suspect it would be that bad. Also, I've noticed where it was blowing on which cylinders on the block as well. In the machine shop they told me exactly which ones, but I'm gonna show you here on the block. Yeah, some more observant people would notice straight away, but I'm just gonna show it now. So this is basically the place where it was blowing on cylinder 1 and 4 into the water coat, and probably one of these, I can't really tell, but it had a blow by as well on, well, I mean blow bys from exhaust gases through piston rings, but there's nothing like it in here. But anyway, yeah, it was leaking here and here as well. You can see these black marks, so we're gonna get rid of them as well. Most of the cases it's just paint that peeled off of the old head gasket, and the theory is that they just botched the job. They didn't check the head bolts, and I'm suspecting they didn't use even torque, because there's a special procedure from what I've learned, but I'm gonna dig into that deeper, so I'm not gonna tell anything more about it. I need to find out more myself. So yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of all the paint remains and just scrape all that. Okay, I've cleaned it all, and in spite those discolorations you cannot feel anything under the nail, under the fingertip. However, I've checked it with the straight line, you know, I got carpentry angle finder, blah blah blah, so I've checked it and it's straight. But even if it wasn't straight, I would still give it a lick of diamond cut, because I don't like these stains from the paint. All right, it's Saturday, 3:30. The last parts I've needed, and unfortunately that was a head gasket itself, have arrived yesterday, so now we can go full steam ahead with installation of said gasket. Time to crack on. And we got all the tools, we got all the set of gasket, complete set of gasket, new head bolts because they are torque to yield, and I'm just gonna film it and crack on with it. The problem you see here is due to damage caused to the head by too much of torque applied to the bolts, previous owners, mechanics or himself. It flattened the top of the head and the head bolt squeezed the head so hard that the rest of the bolt couldn't go past. Well, it took me 12 minutes to do the heads 85 degrees each bolt, so I need to repeat that 2 more times. So see you after that. Okay, it's Sunday the next day, something past 2 o'clock. Sorry for my voice if it's breaking. I was on a concert last night, but that won't stop me working today. So the progress is that we have all the bolts torqued down, so the head is basically here to stay now. Next stage should be putting the camshafts and tappets on, but I think the best would be to sort out the exhaust first, because it's the easiest access at this point. And all I need is to put the flange, well, obviously put the gasket in, then flange on attached to the head, or maybe even not that. But anyway, I got 3 rubber mountings to sort out. Then we will come back here and then yeah, crack on. It took me an hour and a half to install it. This must be the most exhausting exhaust install ever, and I'm exhausted. I'm going for tea. So with the exhaust out of the way, we got all the tappets now put on, including the new one. Welcome to our dysfunctional family. Time to put the camshafts on, and honestly I'm a bit terrified, if I'm gonna get it wrong and spin the crankshaft and it blocks. I'm terrified. Yeah, this is, well, after that it'll be downhill. You might have noticed that I've put them with the holes facing each other, but it's only partially true. Let me show you what the real signs are. So this single dot has to be between them double dots here, and obviously it's not gonna rest entirely on the beds, whatever, respectful place, because some lobes are facing downwards, so they are going to press against the valve lifters, yeah, and they are going to just pop up. So I'm gonna squeeze them down with the supports. And yeah, the thing with the seal as well, I don't have to like force it inside because I got all that bracket gone. Yeah, let's do it. And here I found something just as much interesting as embarrassing. What the I don't believe it myself. Usually the rule is you're supposed to put these supports exactly as they were on camshafts. However, I've done the check and they should be in certain order, like I'm gonna show you in a minute. But anyway, the thing is, the markings on them should be facing outwards, same manner, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So first let's have a look. And what's going on here, this is the row that was supposed to be on the exhaust cam, and what's going on here is that S1, I think, bloody hell, I don't even remember now, but anyway, you got this marking here, it shows 2A, right? And this is 2A, that's from the intake valve, intake side, and this has been put in this position on the exhaust side. So not only is this wrong, but it's in What am I supposed to do now? Keep them as they are, or get them right? Because the last, I'm suspecting the last head gasket replacement was bodged. You know, just cheaply done. And now I got to deal with it. But I have no idea whether it's been damaging the camshafts or not enough to bring it back as it should be, or keep them as they are now. Oh my god. So here I got the exhaust side, and it's almost exactly as it should be, apart from the last one where it was saying where it was turned upside down. But we got 1A, that's 2S from the exhaust side, then we got 3A and 4A. So not only they swapped around some of the supports, they just put them in wrong direction as well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the right way, since I know that the exhaust valves are looking like they should, apart from the second cylinder. Okay, time to go. It's no point of sitting here when it's dark. Let me show you where I ended up and what are we going to do tomorrow after I'm gonna come back from work. So for now it all is finger tight, but the problem I have is I don't know if the camshaft position sensor that I forgot the name, I'm gonna put it on screen. If that moves, the camshaft is supposed to be replaced. Pointless. If I'm gonna use the tool, the timing lock, which is not exactly in a position to line up with, only then it lines up when the dots meet, and even now they don't meet because yeah, the camshafts moved as I was torquing down these bolts, so they moved, but that bit here is not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be a bit lower. So if I move the camshaft now, try to move the camshaft now with all this pressure, and that snaps, I'm gonna have to replace the whole camshaft. What the hell, guys? Why there's no keyway in here? Why it's not locked anyhow? That's why I'm leaving this for today. I'm kind of tired and I've done almost nothing, even though I said I'm gonna do full steam ahead, and it didn't work out. I'm quite not there with the mentality to work on this car. Sorry. Yeah, tomorrow after hours. Okay, it is the next day, and I've learned that these positioning dots on the camshafts, they're not supposed to be together when I'm bolting the caps down, camshaft caps. So the sequence is like this, going from the start to the end here. Also I need to undo it because I need to put some Loctite on it as well, or thread lock, whatever. I need to find a place. Once that's done, I need to turn around the cams 90 degrees after the top dead center, which means basically that probably this one I'm gonna have to turn so that actually I will have to turn it so actually this tool can be installed properly. Let me show you. In this bolt place here, yeah, in this socket here. So I just need to turn them, assuming that this reluctor, I know the name now, assuming that this reluctor didn't spin on the camshaft. I'm gonna install it. Yeah, turn the camshaft so that the camshaft locking tool could lock onto a reluctor, and then I could bolt it down here. This way the whole timing will be locked. Wow. Yeah, so I've torqued them all down and cleaned the caps to 11 Newton meters. So now I'm gonna check real quick if everything else is 11 Newton meters as well, because as you may know, once that's put on, everything's torqued down. Yeah, once everything is torqued down, it's always worth to check if the first ones you've torqued down are still the same spec, because it might loosen the grip, if you know what I mean. So it's all 11 Newton meters. I cannot remove this pipe, it's too much fuss. Always unwind your torque wrenches. Always. After you've done, always unwind it. Now at this stage I wish I was able to just put the rocker cover on and deal with all the rest, like intake manifold, TPF, cooler, thermostat, whatever. But there's still so much more work to do according to these symbols. I need to put that locking tool in place and install it correctly. So there's work here. For that reason I will probably have to remove the engine mount as well. So yeah, plenty of work. But we're going downhill since I've already put the head on the block. And the timing is finally set. So that's how it should look like now. And it's in very fragile position now, because just a smudge of hair and that'll all go sideways, you know, like it'll go this way and it'll rest on the least amount of resistance. Yeah, but now it's all like pretty tense, locked with this locking tool obviously, and reluctor is in its place, it didn't move. So we're home, and for the rest of today's jobs I'm just going to lift the car up, set up the top dead center on the timing on a crankshaft, then turn it 90 degrees after the top dead center and lock it with a locking pin, and I'll call it a day. And the belt and tensioner, all of that I'm gonna do tomorrow after work again. But before I did anything, there's a bolt where in a block where you put that locking pin in and go all the way in until you find the resistance, and then wiggle the crankshaft until it goes into the hole on the balance and blocks it. So the gameplay here is make the timing mark on this, I wouldn't even call that sprocket, but there's a line on here that needs to line up with this bit here. That will be our top dead center, and then I need to turn it another 90 degrees in order to lock the crankshaft with the locking pin on the front of the block. We already got 24mm socket, and catch you after I turn the crankshaft. So there is our top dead center with on the first cylinder. Now I'm hoping that the crank will turn 90 degrees forward without hitting the valves. It does seem like we got it all the way in. If I'm not gonna be able to turn it left and right. Yeah, we were in the right position. Rock solid. So that's it for today. I think we got it all dialed in on crankshaft and camshafts wise. So that's a good sign. I think we need to only make some small adjustments on the cams. I think. I have no idea if that's right or wrong. But once we put sprockets tomorrow and on camshaft sprocket and put all the timing in, I'm hoping I'm gonna get the marks right on the timing belt. And yeah, once it's all put in, I'm just gonna crank it twice, 2 full revolutions of the crankshaft, and we will see if it's right, if it's not colliding the valves with the pistons. And then downhill, it'll all be pleasure. After that, it'll all be pleasure. So yeah, until tomorrow, we will see each other after work. Oh yeah, one more thing before I forget. There's that sprocket here, which is the fuel pump, and that needs to be put on marks as well. It needs to be right in. Let me just dial it in. Yeah, that's how it should look like. It happens that I've put the marker pen on and right next to the marking on the sprocket, but you get the idea. It needs to line up with this groove in the casing. Looks like we got it all dialed in. I didn't want to film it. I've spent here way too long, like 2 hours trying to figure out the markings compared to the markings I've done, because it looked like I've had all the top done and high pressure fuel pump was synchronized as well, and the crankshaft was like 4 or 5 teeth out, and when I was trying to set it up for markings, it was hitting the top dead center. Probably it was colliding with valves, according to what I've had here with the timing lock and all that goodness. So I have it dialed in. The reluctor didn't move on the camshaft, on the exhaust camshaft. So if exhaust camshaft is synchronized with intake camshaft, the top is done basically, according to the locking tool as well. I got it dialed in according to the markings I've done, not to the markings that are actually factory ones. I got sneaky suspicion that they've tampered with the timing belt sprocket on the camshaft side, and that's why it doesn't line up. So anyway, looks like we got everything in sync. Looks like there's no collision, and I can't wait till I put it all back together and get it started. So that's where we are the next day. All the timing is done, so all we got now is to undo the engine mount. But first I'm gonna make it right, the torque on the sprocket. Yeah, I'll make sure all the torques are all done. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is engine closed and it's resting on engine mount on its own. So timing belt covers torque down, engine mount torque down, engine rocker cover torque down. Next thing I need to do, I'm gonna just stop filming and just crack on with whatever I got left until I get too tired to carry on. So basically what I'm gonna try to do is to put the manifold. That will look good, and then see what else, or auxiliaries like power steering pump and stuff like that. Maybe I'll start from this, because this is going to be annoying once the manifold is on. Boy, am I determined to finish this car. The weather is absolute dog, but the news is the buyer of this car called me today and he said that he's coming to Sheffield on Saturday, which I'm hoping to finish this car by then. But yeah, I was a bit surprised, but still, yeah, I said that yeah, we can go with that, we can go with Saturday. So I'm even more determined, because today we got Thursday, so I got only like, I don't even know how long I'm gonna work in these conditions. I'm going to spend some time here, probably doing all this mess here, since I'm not planning on laying on floor and trying to line this belt up, auxiliary belt. So I'm going to focus on working from the back to the front, starting from the heat shield on the exhaust manifold, and then on the intake side of things, you know, on the turbo, and yeah, work my way from the back to the front and get it all connected, sort of. And then thermostat first, then intake manifold and everything around it. Yeah, that's going for the EGR cooler. There's another pipe for EGR cooler. There are some sensors. This one is temperature sensor, probably for the thermostat. Another pipe for thermostat going from water pump. Yeah, all that goodness. So for now, I'm just going to start from the back, and I'm just gonna hope that the rain is gonna stop for quite some time. Yesterday I finished at 9. So basically, folks, we are just at the end of this huge saga, and just stick with me a bit more, and I'm just going to assemble all the rest of the auxiliaries, and upon the startup of this engine we will then learn if it's a success or not. If it's failure, I literally don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm just hoping for the best, so pray for me. I think I'm gonna hold it for a bit longer, but I don't know how much longer. Look at this. Yep, that looks like the end of the day. And that means tomorrow I'm gonna have to work twice as fast. Hello.
Come on, you can do it.
Yeah, last straight. Hello. Saturday morning. The buyer is gonna come and pick up the car within a few hours. I can see the finish line. All it takes is only a few vacuum lines, an expansion tank for cooling system. Some of these things don't even require any tools, just slide them in. I've strained my arm. I can't lift it properly, so I'm not gonna hold this phone much longer. But yeah, I decided I'm gonna go for break yesterday around 8 o'clock. I was planning on working till 10 o'clock. But then this arm was literally killing me. I barely ate dinner. It's a long journey. It's a really long journey, and I'm just hoping when it starts up, it's going to work fine. Otherwise, if that doesn't work out, if the engine breaks, it'll be all for nothing. And the guy just came for nothing. At this point, I'm just gonna send the car to scrap. Well, it'll stay for a moment until I figure out how to take it to scrapyard. Half past 9 or 9 o'clock. Let's go, let's finish it. Good morning, Andy. I decided it's just best to show you. So all I got left is basically some things with cooling, like expansion tank, you know, few hoses, like this vacuum, you know, battery, and we can start it up, and hopefully it'll be all right. I've had some problems with timing, so just to be aware of that I'm gonna start it up, and I'm just going to take it easy and see how that goes. Yeah, but if it starts up and it works for a moment, I'm not gonna put some water in for the first startup and just see how that works and then switch it off, obviously. But then yeah, I'll start filling it up with coolant and give it a test drive and see how that goes. But first, yeah, we need to start it up. Right, and this was the last thing actually before plugging the battery in and doing the test start. Let me just check the whole car before I move it any further. See if I plugged everything in, torqued everything in down, and see you after that, and we will see. Okay, I've checked over every connection, every bolt nut, whatever I could do, I've done. At this point I'm just delaying the inevitable. All it takes is the battery. You have no idea how anxious I am. Okay, here goes nothing. Okay, so I'm not so much anxious about the timing itself. There's no collision. It tries to start, but probably the fuel still need to make its way to the injectors. So I'm just hoping it's that and I didn't put the camshaft in wrong position. Okay, so I'm getting no errors from the ECU, so that means the timing is alright. It's not off or anything. So that means, because otherwise probably if the timing would be off, it would cut the fuel off. And it didn't happen, so probably I just need to wait for it to pump all that diesel to the injectors. That's it. Just a quick video, it finally works. Yeah. I'm just gonna switch it off now. I don't want it to overheat. But goodness me! Yeah! Official statement. The car is finally working. So the cause of that was a fuel line. Basically, it didn't have enough fuel in the line. And it gave me the codes, obviously. But these are the usual codes, saying that the charging is not enough. Although I was firing the car up from jump cables from my Hyundai. So, oh, yeah, I'm gonna cry. Well, that's definitely the tallest I've ever lifted the car, the highest. So the idea behind it is to have this coolant reservoir as high as possible, so it could be the highest point of when we are going to pour the cooling fluid in. What that does is that it lets the fluid go as far back as possible, and only when all the air is out, this will go all the way up to like here. So yeah, that's the idea behind it, to fill up the entire system, and this is going to be filled up as the last one. So only that return pipe is hot and the fluid inside the tank is hot, but there's no pressure in the system, which is a good sign. That means the gasket works. But what about the circulation around the thermostat? I think that thermostat might be gone again.
But I finally managed to bleed the car enough to get it started and drive properly. It didn't overheat, so I was happy with the results 2 hours before the buyer coming over and selling it to him. Unfortunately, what you are seeing, this is the footage from the next day, where it turned out that the car, according to what the buyer said, the car released a puff of smoke, the RPM surged, the engine died, it was cranking, but it never started again. Part of me was thinking, obviously it's my fault, because I was thinking the timing is messed up, as I mentioned somewhere in the middle of the video, saying that I had some problems with setting up the timing and stuff like that, but I was driving it for 2 hours, so I couldn't really tell what was exactly wrong. Especially since I've done so much work, paid attention to every detail, and even corrected the effects of some of the previous works that were made by previous owners. So I really was lost for it, because everything I've done and everything I remember I've done correctly. I couldn't really tell what was wrong. So you might want to stick out for the part 3 to see what was really the problem, and it was completely not what you would expect, and then what kind of work it requires to amend it. Thank you for watching. If you've gone this far, you're awesome. I'd like to ask you to leave some traffic under this video, and definitely you want to check out part 3 of this basically saga. Thank you once again. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. I still haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with this car. There might be a tensioner too loose. Oh, that's new. You have no idea how tired I am.